Well, I think one of the biggest things in the UK is the Renters' Rights Act. That's, of course, changing the shift of power within the industry from the property owners and operators, ultimately to the consumers. And I think that is an important shift for a couple of reasons. Number one is it means that the industry has got to think about how to attract consumers and how to retain them. And to see that relationship as a relationship which they need to curate, but also that they need to incentivize and really value. It's not just about an annual rental renewal. It's about actually creating an environment, a community that they want to join, a community they want to stay in, but a community that also gives value back to them. And I think that shift is going to be important, but what it's also doing is it's changing the thinking process within the industry and forcing innovation. You can tell from my accent, I'm American, and I find the real estate sector in Britain quite slow moving. Very reluctant to change, to dip the toe in the water, to try something new. And I think when you have a massive shift in regulation like this, it forces people to think differently. And I think that's a massive opportunity for innovation and for what will no doubt therefore lead to further growth in the sector. Well, I mean, look, I think one of the things that the build to rent and more generally the living sector can learn from hospitality more generally is that flexibility is key to customers. You know, customers love the ability to make choices all the time. And actually, what you often find is if you give people the choice, they'll often be more loyal customers. So it always feels like, oh, let's lock them into a contract and that will solve the problem. But actually, if they stay because they see value, they're probably customers who are going to recommend you to someone else, and probably customers that are going to be more loyal themselves. And so I think what we have to do in short-term rentals, you're winning new customers every single day. You have to, because you're not filling a property for a year, you're filling a property for a week or a month or 2 nights. And in order to do that, you've got to make sure that you're attractive, you've got great reviews, you're delivering a great service every single day. And I think that's something from our sector that the whole living sector is learning from. Not just us, but also hotels and the broader hospitality sector. Because if you're able to offer those great experiences, I think that provides longer term loyalty in customers. But what it also does is it allows those owners and operators to innovate and themselves offer more flexible product. Look, I think technology is key. We all talk about AI nowadays, but AI is actually one piece of your tech stack. It's about your PMS. It's about your amenities and how you offer those out to your customers, CRM systems. But it is also about things like, you know, adopting short-term rental technology, like our business Hosperia, we see increasingly being adopted as ways to offer more flexible rental periods. We work in PBSA, where what we see is that summer periods, for example, are a great opportunity to monetize, to offer a better product to students because they only need to pay for 9 months of the year, and actually delivering higher NOIs. That's true in the build to rent sector as well, where you see lease up periods, but also longer term providing for seasonality and flexibility, and increasingly with renters' rights, having the ability to switch on and off for different unit types, seasonality, and ultimately to be able to have flexible product that draws new customers into the developments and actually turns them into long-term customers. For me, what I'm taking away is that change is here. Maybe you can argue that's being pushed by government and forcing the sector to change, but whatever the combination of causes, whether that's AI, regulation, change is happening, and those who innovate and those who offer the best options and products to their customers are going to be the winners. I think institutional real estate is winning in the residential real estate space, and I think that trend will continue. And I'm certainly excited to be here and be a part of this industry and to see that change happen, and hopefully in some small way be a support to helping that change endure.